Spooky Story Sunday is in full effect. Welcome. So the two story collections that I'm going to be talking about today, if you saw the little intro I did yesterday, I'm going to be talking because I'm holding it by the cover like an American, because this is like you hold it the cover and it's supposed to be like this. But it's backwards because it's Japanese. It's a manga. So Shiver. I'm like, let me introduce it. I just woke up like in the middle of the morning. Like I had a nice little sleep in to like almost 11 and it's just now like 12. Like, so I just woke up this morning and read these. So I'm like, huh? Like I feel like I'm awake, but then like I'm doing crazy stuff. Okay, so this is Shiver by Junji Ito. And he is an author of manga, of like creepy horror manga. I mean, like look at the cover. I mean, what are we really saying? I mean, it's clearly like upsetting and creepy stuff. The first story was kind of creepy, but like I feel like just judging by the cover, I feel like the first story is kind of like starting you off small and we're going to build the creepiness. And then I read in Shadow Show. Now, Shadow Show is a collection of manga short stories that is inspired by the works of Ray Bradbury. So a little spooky, a little sci-fi inspired, a little this, a little that, right? And let me just go ahead and start by talking this one. So the first story in it is By the Silver Water of Lake Chaplain by Joe Hill. And every author gets to write their own little blurb about how much they love Ray Bradbury. He says, and I quote, "You don't wear your strongest influences like a shirt, something you can take on and off as you like. You wear those influences like your skin. For me, Ray Bradbury is that way." So this is the like, kind of like the final page art. Not the cover art. Let me show you the cover art for the little story. Because I think the thing with graphic novels is, this is like, I don't know if this is an alternative cover or just this is the cover art. But essentially the story, and this cover art kind of plays into it well, is about two young kids, a girl who has to babysit her younger sisters, and another boy who is out exploring with his brother, and they find a squishy rock on the beach. And then they look around the rock, and it's like a big mound, right? And they go on the other side of the mound, and it's like, it's a sea creature or a lake monster or whatever. And I don't want to spoil it. That's all I'm going to say. It's kind of, is that a spoiler? No, because I think that's in the cover art. So they say they think it's a dinosaur. And then, I'm not going to say what else. Was this story creepy? No, it was okay. I'm just going to say that was okay. It's kind of like, not nostalgic, but like, the end of the story is kind of, you see me fluffing my hair, like my hair isn't staying fluffed. It's kind of like nostalgic. It's kind of like, oh, I have a little bit of like lifelong regrets over a situation. It's hard to say without spoiling. It was okay. I was okay with it. It's fine. It was like an okay first story. I've never read anything by Joe Hill before. I have a lot of things I want to read by him, like Horns and other things, but I haven't gotten to them. Okay, let's talk about the real creep show. Let's talk about the real creep show. This story made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable emotionally. It is spooky. It is like, has a spooky element to it. Should I just spoil these stories? I don't want to spoil it, but essentially it's about a girl, and it's called, hold on, let me show you the cover art, because I think that's part of the fun of graphic novels, talking about the art in the novel. And it's called Used Record. And in his like author note after the story, he says he was inspired by a used record shop that was near his house where he lived at the time, and he wanted to make it a story set in also inside of a Tokyo jazz cafe. And you're like, that doesn't sound that doesn't sound spooky. Well, it is spooky because it's basically about people in this short story. And I feel like this is a thing with like Junji Ito. I haven't read a lot of his works, but I've seen a lot of like video essays and reviews of his work. And I think something that kind of becomes a theme for him a lot is people becoming obsessed, and that kind of idea of how that takes you to a different level as a person, and how it's kind of creepy and kind of scary how obsessed people get with things. So they have this used record, and it has this mysterious backstory, which I won't spoil because it's pretty good. And it's two girls listening to the used record. This happens like, I'm gonna, light spoiler. She kind of wants to borrow the record from the girl and make a copy. And the girl's like, no, you can't make a copy. You're not allowed. And so they have basically a knockdown blowout fight. That's what I'm going to say about the record. And it all spins off from there. The girl steals the record and it spins off from there. And it's a really good story. It's about 20 something pages. It's really good. I read it like that. Like, it was really good. It did have me like, what are these people going to do next over this record? Like I said, there's like a theme of like being obsessed and how that makes people creepy and crazy. Like, people just go crazy over stuff and you're just like, please calm down. You're scaring me. That's literally literally that story. So that's it. That's Spooky Story Sunday. Have a good day. That's it. 2 little stories.